Hi, this is Gary here. Today I want to explain you something about the circle of influence. It's a model originally designed by Stephen Covey. You probably know this man. He wrote a fantastic book called The 7 Habits of Effective People. So that's a must read for you. But today I want to explain you something about the circle of influence. It's a model which is described in this book. First of all, we've got 2 circles. The first circle is the circle of concern. Those are all the things that you are concerned about, concerned with. So things in your life. Not so much you can influence them, but it's something that's there. Then the second circle is the circle of influence. That's a different kind of circle. Those are the things you really have influence on. You can influence, you can change them by yourself. You don't need anybody else for that. So, the first circle, the circle of concern. What are things that are in that circle? You can answer that for yourself right now. And take this video, make a break in this video for a moment. And if you're done with that, you can put a play on, and then I'll explain it further. So, what are things you are that are within your circle of concern? Now, for me, one of the things that's in my circle of concern, something I'm involved with, is the weather. You know, I can't do anything about it, but if I go outside and it rains and I don't want to be wet, I need an umbrella. So that's one of the things. Another thing which is in my circle of concern is for example, my colleagues. So those are the persons I work with. I cannot change them. I cannot do anything about the way they behave. I can give them feedback, but if they change, I don't know. So that are things I am involved with without being able to change them. Well, then we've got family. It's in your circle of concern. You can't influence them. Maybe you've got a partner. You can try, of course, to change. You can try to change your partner. Maybe that's a good question for you. Think about all the moments you've tried to change your partner. As, for example, to say to him or her, don't put your socks in the bathroom on the floor. I don't like that. Please change that. Maybe you've got success for a little while or not. In most relationships, we now and then we try to change another. But if you are honest, how long does this project already last? And how successful are you with that project of changing your partner? Well, my project is not very successful, and I think my partner's isn't either. So you best keep to your own business. But what are other things that are in this circle of concern that are in your life without you being able to change them? At this moment, very present in all of our lives is COVID-19. You know, if I'm honest and I see how much energy I put into this COVID thing by reading things and listening to things, you know, it's actually a waste of time. I cannot do anything about the measurements. I cannot do much about if I get the illness or not. I can do a few things maybe, but all this time and energy we spend in discussing this subject, it's actually a waste of time, most of the time. Unless you are president of a country or something like that, in which case I'm happy you see this video. So, those are the things that are in our circle of concern. I will say one more thing about our president of our country. I live in the Netherlands. Our president wants to change our behavior. I don't know if I write it right, in the right English, but he wants to change the way we behave, because if we behave better, the chance of COVID to spread is smaller. Well, actually, that's not in his influence. You know, he can do all kind of things. He can dance on television and he can say you can't do it. But we behave the way we behave. It's not as in his circle of influence, but he's very much struggling with it. Just the behavior of other people is something you can be very concerned about, but can put a lot of energy in, but actually you're not able to change it because they can decide for this themselves. Well, I think you've got an idea of how this works within this circle of concern. Finish it and stop this tape for a second if you want to finish it for yourself and do this exercise. Because if you do this exercise, you will learn more and you have a real life experience of it. So now there's one circle left. This is the circle of influence. And I've got the following question for you. What are things you have a certain amount of influence on that you know in advance for a 100% sure that this is going to happen? So what are things that you have an influence on that are that you know for 100% sure that is going to happen or not going to happen? Think of that, ponder about that for a little while, and stop the tape for a second and then write down for yourself in this circle, which you can sketch on your notebook. Write down what are things that you have that amount of influence on, and then I'll give you some guidance. Okay, influence, 100% sure. What can I do right now at this moment? For me, I decided a few minutes ago to do this tape because I want to see how my English speaking followers react to this kind of information. So this is a test case. It is my decision to make this tape. So you can decide, in my case, to make this tape. I'm here in my workspace. I've got a camera, I've got this flip over thing, and I can do that. And then I can upload it to LinkedIn and see what happens. That is a decision of mine. But whether you are going to like it, or whether you are going to react, or whether you are going to put a comment in, I don't know. It's not within my influence. One thing I know for sure, if I don't do anything, you won't react because there's no video. So you've got here in between a circle of relative influence. So the more you put your energy, the less you put your energy on all the things you're concerned about, the more you can put your energy on the things you really can do. And then there is a possibility that in this circle of relative influence, there is a possibility that you actually will influence other people. So by making this video, maybe you see it, and maybe I've got a certain amount of influence on you. But the only proactive thing that I can do is make this video, apart from the result. So what are other things that I can influence actually? Well, I can go for a walk or not. So I can decide where I put my body, as long as I'm not in a real prison, I can decide where I put my body and if I take a walk or not. I can decide to communicate with another person. So if I don't like the behavior of a certain person, I can't change his behavior. Not that I know for 100% sure that he is going to change, but what I can do, I can start communicating with that person. And when I communicate with this person, maybe this person is going to think about himself, and maybe there is going to be a change. But if I want to push that person or press that person to change, I think the chance of that I succeed actually in my life, when I want to push somebody very seriously, because this is an important subject, most of the time people react like this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute, I want to decide for myself. So, I can communicate. When I begin to push, the chance is very, very low that somebody else is going to change. When I give the person a certain amount of feedback on a normal way, with the right techniques, maybe that person is going to change. But I don't know it for sure. The only thing I know for sure, I can give that feedback to that person. So that is what I can do. So if all those things that you wrote down here and that I write down right now, if you make a summary of that, what would you say that is a word that describes your influence within this circle? So if I think about it, is the word for this, I take a black pen, is myself. So I can do something myself. And actually, if I really am honest about other things, there are not so many things that I can change. Actually, most of the time, there are less things that I can do or influence than I think I can influence. So what I can do is something that I can do. How the world reacts on that, I don't know. We'll see. So I wish you a good luck with this exercise. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.